All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Morning and Gym podcast. I'm trying something new today. I realize that it's pretty hard to sit down and do a podcast at the studio every single week. So I'm just going to take the studio with me everywhere I go because I'm traveling a lot at the moment. I am just going to live my day to day, but I'm going to record it when I can do a podcast. For example, right now it's lunchtime and I have a couple meetings to do after this and no time to do the podcast, but I really want to give something out to you guys. So let me know how this style is. It's literally just in my life. It's going to be a little bit sporadic, but the value is there. That's what's most important. The value is there, guys. So we're making some turkey breasts today. And if you are not on YouTube watching this, switch over to YouTube. Watch it over there because you can see my face. There's a moth trying to escape this apartment right now. But I'm at my sister's apartment right now, just house sitting. She's in Japan. But I decided to use this week as a reset of my environment to really just get content out for you guys, but also to prime my goals and reset this framework that I'm going to talk about today. So what today's podcast is going to be all about is the framework at which I live my life. And I have, for example, students live their lives, my mentors, and my business partners as well. It's so important to have a framework that you live by on a day-to-day basis because there's so much that happens. There's so much that happens every single day, every single week, where consistency is not your best friend, or the environment at which your consistency can thrive is not your best friend. What I mean by that is there's so much going on in your family life, in your fitness, in your business, in your relationships, and just about everything where it doesn't make it easy for us to live a consistent life where everything's cookie cutter. I'm gonna wake up at this time, do this every single day because everything's changing. So just like how I'm doing this, I'm cooking my lunch while working, while doing a podcast, which is crazy for my mind right now, but I'm adapting to my situation and doing what I do best and creating a framework out of it, right? This morning I woke up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. actually, and I did a dynamic version of my morning routine. What I mean by dynamic version is I didn't do my full, 5:30 a.m., wake up, you meditate, you hit the gym right after, then you do journaling, then you visualize, then you do an input, which is like 30 minutes of reading or a podcast. And I didn't do the whole shabam because I slept at midnight. I got in really late. I was at a family party last night and I got in. I fell asleep at like 1, talked to my sister for a bit, got up, helped them pack for Japan. So it was a crazy morning, but I still was able to do a dynamic morning routine, which was just about an hour. I hit the gym, I got ready, and I prepped my day. That's because I have a framework for which I live my life. And I want to share the exact framework with you guys, but I also want to give you guys the ability to create that framework. I have no idea how this audio is going to work, and also you're seeing me in the flesh of what multitasking does. It's not always good to multitask, but I just wanted you guys to kind of see what it looks like and get a feel for how I live my life on a day-to-day. And you also might hear a lot of audio of me washing things and cooking. But anyways, so what is this framework and why is it important? The framework here is important. I actually already went over that, but what is the framework? So it's a default state at which you live your life. We don't have paper towels. It's a default state of how you live your life where the crazy days will come, but it doesn't matter because you have this to fall back on, okay? It goes over the values at which you live by. It goes over the hobbies that you have, the communities that you're a part of, and your morning routines, your nightly routines, your habits, and your disciplines. Those things are all very important, at which I went over. Ooh, there's Brussels sprouts. My sister made those yesterday. Awesome. So, routines, habits, and your disciplines are so incredibly important, and I'll tell you why. It's because it is the factor at which you live your lifestyle, you live your culture. And if you are somebody who has a very disciplined mindset, this is going to be easy for you because all you have to do is set the framework and you live by it on a day-to-day basis. If you're someone like me, where you're pretty sporadic, then you have to have accountability behind this framework, okay? So essentially, what you need to do, what you need to figure out is your mission and what your vision is. What is it, what's on the top of the pedestal of what you're reaching towards? And then everything else in the framework could be figured out because your morning routine is going to be based upon that vision, right? For a lot of you who are high achievers, whether you're my students, whether you're people who are entrepreneurs listening to this, whether you're a young entrepreneur, whoever you are, if you're listening to this podcast, I hope the audience is high achievers who want to achieve more in their life. Damn, that is a huge moth. Anyways, I'm gonna let him live. So you have to know your big vision because your morning routine is going to create you into the person that can have that vision. That is a bar right there. The morning routine is essentially helping you build consistency, helping you build discipline, helping you build your body, enhancing your confidence, doing things like journaling that will enhance your clarity. That turns you into the person who can achieve that vision. And the morning routine gets you ready for the day, so throughout the day you can do the work that's going to get you closer to that vision. I want you to repeat that a few times, go back, listen to that, because that's what I've been studying for myself, my students, and everyone around me for the past 3 years, is that exact thing I just said. You have your vision, your morning routine creates you into the person you need to become, and every day you have a set scope of work for what you need to do that's also going to get you closer to the vision. All right, while I chop my onions, let's talk about Midas. Now, Midas is one of the most important things that you're going to be setting upon in your daily routines and every single day. What does Midas stand for? Most important daily action steps. This is something my mentor Andrew taught me, and it's changed my life, and I'll show you in action what that looks like. So this is just this hour's Midas. I'm doing this in the next couple hours. Go over this week's goals, ChatGPT for groceries. This is crazy. One of my habits is to use AI in everything that I do. So when I was getting groceries, I thought, how can I use AI for this? So I made a ChatGPT thread that gives me a coaching summary of what I need to buy, what I need to eat in the recipe. That's what inspired this action of doing this podcast. Anyways, I go all over the place, but this is my podcast, so you gotta bear with me. Anyways, I have exactly what I need to do, and my Midas prepare me for my health, for my business, for my vision, recording a podcast. Boom, about to knock that out. I just recorded a reel, so that's done. And then I have a couple more things for the business. But that came from this morning, which was my Midas from before. So what I mean by that is you write down exactly what you need to do, kind of like a to-do list, but it's a much more efficient to-do list because it's the most important daily actions that you need to do that's going to get you towards to that vision. So take that same dynamic of what I showed you before, which is your vision is at the top. Everything else is at the bottom. So every single thing you do, every action you take, everything that comes out of your mouth should get towards that vision. I'm gonna start seasoning this turkey. And everything you listen to in self-development, I want you to think about this principle because it's so incredibly important to understand that everything you do should be getting towards your vision. It's becoming obsessed with it. It's becoming so crystal focused on the bigger picture. And what is that bigger picture? Your vision. So let's get back on track. So your Midas, every single day, you write down what the most important daily action steps for the day are that will get you ahead. So most people, when they do this, they start to write down to-do lists that don't really matter, that don't really capture what you need to do. Where is Sosa? Ooh, I'm watching my sister's cat and I have not seen her. So Rachel, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I will find her later. Anyways, most people don't encapsulate the main things that need to get done on a day-to-day basis. They only write down the things that are convenient to them, and then they have 10 things on their to-do list, and they feel productive when they get it done. But when you look at the end of the day, nothing got done in the business. Nothing got done in your health. Nothing got done on your relationships. So be very crystal concise on what it is that you're focusing on with your Midas on your to-do list. It's not just a to-do list to do things that you need to do from your old self. It's the new self. It's this new version of yourself that you're creating. What would they do on a daily basis? Do that today, because that's going to turn you into that person. When you understand that, it allows you to start thinking as if you're that, for example, Leo Valentino 5 years from now, right? I'm sitting in this space as if I'm already that person, as if I already have a $50 million portfolio, and I'm acting as if I've been there before. That allows me to believe in that. That allows me to see what could be, because in reality, that version of myself, Leo Valentino 5 years from now, is standing a certain way, is breathing a certain way, and is thinking a certain way. He might just have some assets that are worth more than mine right now. He might just have more experiences, but it's still how you think, how you move, how you breathe that really matters. So I can borrow that from him. Different topic. Midas. Write down what it is that you need to do that's going to get you towards your vision, and cross it out hard every time you finish it, because it's going to give you so much satisfaction. You're going to love it. You're going to come back to this podcast 2 years from now, 3 years from now, tomorrow, and you're going to say, wow, Leo, no, you were right. After I do my Midas, I cross them out, I feel great. Because in the morning, the reason that I felt massive overwhelm every single Monday morning is because I had no clarity. Because Saturday and Sunday, I'd go to a family party, I'd hang out with a girl, or I'd go, travel, adventure, have a lot of fun that feeds my soul. But then Monday morning when the business matters came, I was like, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what direction I'm going. I feel so behind. Sales are not where they need to be. Oh my God, all these things are happening. What do I do? All you have to do is write down your Midas. What are the most important daily action steps for what you need to do that's going to get you towards the vision that you want to create? Because it keeps you focused, keeps you crystal clear, focused on what you need to do. And for me, I need to fucking cook this thing because I don't have that much time to do this podcast. Okay, what am I doing? Seasoning. Here we go. So, what's next, guys? What are we talking about next? Once you've done your Midas in the morning, create the morning routine in a way where you have the full setup, Superman, Superwoman morning routine, as if you had the perfect morning, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., everything's perfect, and then create the morning routine for the not perfect days. I'll explain that to you once I find my seasoning. I need some salt. You know what? The seasoning that you guys need to get for people who don't normally cook is the ones that they already mix them all together. Because I don't know what to season this with right now with what she has. Everything but elote? Yeah, I'm not going to use elote. So for your morning routine, you want to make sure that you have a framework set up that is built for you to feel amazing, for you to feel productive, but also is fully built out where you have a 2-3 hour span that you could do it. It's one of those perfect days. But then you also want to make sure that you have one for the more realistic days where you just went to a family party until midnight and you come back and you only have a couple hours to knock everything out. Or no, only have 1 hour or 30 minutes. Or more realistically, the days that you really just don't feel like it. And I wanna be able to be like David Goggins and say, no days off. Every day has to be perfect. But to be honest, I'm not perfect. I have so many days where I feel like absolute doggy shit. And I don't wanna do this superhero morning routine because I don't have 4 hours. And I also don't have the mood in me to get it done. So my morning routine, guys, is 5:30 a.m., or my perfect morning routine is 5:30 a.m. I wake up, and I meditate. Rachel, you have to get better seasoning. I don't know what I'm doing here. Paprika. Whatever. 5:30 I wake up, I meditate. I always start my day with silence. Why? Because there's so much noise in the day, especially if you're here. Like, let me just show you what I'm looking at right now. If you are in a town like this, there's so much noise in the day. And let's put it in more of a productive sense where there's so much noise on this. Imagine that times 16 million, that's what this phone does to you. So when you first wake up, God's blessing, you're up and you're awake, and then you go into that world, dude, you are screwed for the rest of the day. Your dopamine, you just got like 10,000 times dopamine of what your ancestors used to get in 2 seconds. Craziness. Make sure, this is cayenne pepper, fuck. Make sure you are starting your morning quiet and on your terms. I'm about to just not season this at all. Turmeric. I don't know if I should cut this from the podcast or just keep it, because this is super, again, sporadic, but it's gonna work out. It's gonna be what you need today. How do I know what you need today? I don't. But I ask God for what I should say and what I should talk about. So anyways, guys, after that, I will go straight to the gym because I want to be lazy in the morning. I just had 8 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, however long, of absolute peace and coziness in the bed. And the last thing I want to do is get up and work out. So the first thing I do is I get up and work out. Because, again, my body is not in the prime state to go run a 7-figure business or to lead my team of awesome people in this culture to build that 7-8-figure business. And I'm not in that state of mind where, I'm not a father, but I can, lead in that fatherly way. I'm not in that state right now. So I have to get the fuck up, go to the gym and get myself in that leader state, in that warrior state once I hit the gym. So the first thing I do is I go and I hit the gym. Citrus garlic, sure. When you season, just, you can over season a little bit, just don't over season with salt, because that'll ruin it. But what I have found that you can throw some stuff in there and it still turns out pretty good. Once you have that down, okay? Once you're at that place, let me backtrack a little bit. After I go to the gym, I will come back and I'll shower, I'll get ready, but I'll journal, I'll meditate, I'll visualize, and I'll plan the day. And actually before that, I do about 30 minutes of reading or input time. So I'll listen to a podcast while I eat, like a healthy breakfast, or I'll read a little bit. Then I journal, and what that does, it helps you clarify your thoughts. It helps you get crystal focused on what it is that you need to do for the day. Right after that, I'll write down my Midas. That's how it all came together. Okay. You see, guys, my mind works in so many ways. It's like a beautiful adventure to get to the point that I need to get to, but it's always the correct answer from my mind. And that's what I want for you, is that you build a relationship with yourself and your thoughts, where despite the craziness that goes on, at the end of the day, at the end of the thought process, you still get where you need to go, and you say, I love myself, and thank you, mind, for giving me these thoughts, and thank you, God, for giving me these thoughts. Let's talk about self-talk while I find more seasoning, because that is not enough. I think I'm gonna just do some taco seasoning. So, oh no, that's a lot of honey. I'm gonna watch this back and be like, I did not get anything done in my cooking, which is hilarious. Speaking of self-talk, in these moments, it's so important to have conversations with yourself. If I wasn't doing a podcast, I assure you, I would be having a full-on conversation with myself with music blasting, nice playlist, feeling good, feeling energetic, feeling sexy, you know. Self-talk is so important because it's the foundation of what the relationship you have with yourself. If you and I were in a room together and I say, I don't really like you. I don't like your face. I don't like your nose. You kind of smell bad, or I don't like how you dress. Or you're not enough. You're just not enough for me. If I said all those mean things to you, we probably wouldn't be friends. You probably wouldn't be in this apartment with me, chilling, cooking some turkey that's not being seasoned right now. Instead, you would leave because you respect yourself. So why wouldn't you give the same energy to yourself in your own mind, in your own head, as you're talking to yourself? Too many of us are programmed to speak so poorly to ourselves because of the media that goes on around us, right? And I have very strong views on that I'm not going to share right now, that I will share on a future podcast, but we're being programmed to treat ourselves poorly, and we're not being taught to build a relationship with yourselves, because why would they want us to build a strong relationship with ourselves if it creates confidence within us? And if it creates such a strong will to be able to build the businesses that we want and make the changes that we want in this life? No, they wouldn't want to do that. So, take it from me. Do the best you can to be as nice as you can to yourself, as if you're talking to your son, your daughter, your best friend, the person you love the most in this world. Pretend like you're talking to them. And what's going to happen, guys, is you're going to build this strong relationship with yourself. Your confidence is going to go up. You're going to feel sexy. You're going to feel awesome all the time. Not all the time, because that's not realistic. But a lot of the day is going to be filled with positivity, because now the biggest negative factor in your life is removed, which is the enemy within yourself. I don't know where anything is in this house right now, so this is why things are not getting cooked at the moment. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move this into a bowl, and I'm gonna use the same pan. Always find a way. Always find a way to do things. I actually don't know how long this podcast has been. Nightly routine. This is another super, super important one, guys. And I hope you're just chilling watching this podcast and taking in all the notes, because everyone struggles with self-talk, even myself. In these moments, I'm like, are people even gonna wanna watch this? I know my students would love to watch this because, it's all very valuable stuff, but just like the random people who might find my audience and this might be their first interaction of me, my mind goes, are they even gonna wanna watch it? I think it's good stuff. This looks good. It actually doesn't look good, but I like Brussels sprouts. Honey roasted Brussels sprouts. Scrumptious. A nightly routine sets you up for your morning routine. And you know your morning routine sets you up for your day. Your day sets you up for your week sets you up for your month sets you up for your year, and your year is what makes the progress in your life. When you think about it that way, nightly routine is pretty damn important. So, without having to convince you that a nightly routine is important, what should you do in your nightly routine? I hate doing dishes. It's not my forte. If anyone wants to, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, what I do in my nightly routine, guys, is at 9 p.m., And I'll preface this by I struggle so much with my nightly routine because I like to chill and have a good time at night, but it's about being disciplined. So I'm gonna share it with you guys and you're gonna get to see what that looks like. So 9 p.m., I shut off my electronics except for if I'm on the phone with somebody. Shut off my electronics. 9:15, I journal, and then I meditate. I do a relaxation exercise, which means either a meditation or a nice little yoga exercise. I've been doing yoga recently, getting a little flexible, but it just allows me to shut my mind off and get in tune with my body to get in full relaxation mode. Because if you don't remember, sleep is the ultimate form of relaxation. So if you try super hard to sleep, or if you're thinking about business, you're not in a relaxed state. So the whole objective of this nightly routine is to get you in a very relaxed state so you can wake up feeling refreshed, so you can set yourself up for an absolutely tremendous day. I need some oil. You know what? I'm gonna finish the podcast first before I continue this. The nightly routine is so important for the framework. The morning routine is probably the most important part with the Midas, and understanding that you have to build a framework for yourself in this world that we live in as entrepreneurs, as high achievers, because there's so much noise in the world and there's so much distraction. And the number one thing that makes the most people successful is focus and the consistency within that focus. And of course, having the right vision attached to that focus. Things get a lot more simpler when you put it in that way. And it's only gotten so simple for me in the past couple of years, months, because I spent years trying to figure out what makes someone successful, what type of clarity makes somebody successful, what makes me enjoy my life. But first, what is success to me? Because I had to define what success was to me before I found people who were successful in that way. Because if someone has, a couple $1 billion, they're sitting on assets, they're good, but they're not in good shape, they're going through a divorce. I would not in a million years switch my life for that life. Fuck no. What success means to me is the fact that you feel fulfilled, you feel happy, peaceful in everything that you do, your family is taken care of, you're in such a good state of mind, you have health around you, you have a good culture, great community, respectful relationships all around you, everything is moving in a harmonious way. That's what success means to me. So, every day is chasing that success, because we have to chase something. There's a journey that we're on, and it's a beautiful journey that we get to be a part of, and we have to be able to chase something, right? Progress makes us go round. We make the world, actually, money makes the world go round, I guess, but progress is what makes us feel like we're on track, is what makes us feel that happiness and fulfillment and significance that we crave. So when you understand this, it allows you to see things in a different light. Just like what this sporadic podcast went over is the framework. What I want you to do as an action step is take the notes that you took today, or go back and take more notes, and create the morning routine, create the nightly routine, write down your Midas, but more importantly, understand what the vision is at the top, okay? I'm gonna do a training soon for my Freedom Life students, but also I'll do a quick training for you guys for actually what that framework looks like for the vision, your mission, your goals, and your purpose, yearly goals, what morning routine to follow to be able to get there, what nightly routine to help your morning routine, and the Midas that are needed on a daily basis, the metrics needed to get done. That's a whole nother podcast I didn't talk about yet. But yeah, I realized I probably won't do this one again because I didn't cook my lunch. I just prepped it and I couldn't find seasoning half the time. But again, the value is there. You just gotta go through a little bit of the fluff and the moments of finding seasoning. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. My name is Leo Valentino. I'm going to continue making these for you guys, and I'm just going to take you on with my journey. I don't talk a lot about myself. I'm 20 years old. I have built a real estate company with one of my best friends, Andrew Schlag, and we are building this awesome education company that's going to change the scope of how entrepreneurs do business and how they grow, and young entrepreneurs as a whole. I have terrible allergies. That's why you can hear me sometimes sniffling. I love to have fun. I love culture. I build culture. And yeah, there's a lot more about me that I'll talk about in another episode, but hope you enjoyed. Let me know how you feel about this. I know I literally don't have an audience right now, but it's all good. We just creating to create. Deuces.